Have you ever wondered why some people rise while others remain exactly where they are? Why certain individuals bend circumstances in their favor while the rest feel trapped by the same world, the same economy, the same 24 hours? What makes the difference? Is it talent, luck, opportunity, intelligence, connections, or is it something deeper, something internal, something built, not born? Tonight, we peel back the curtain. We step into the quiet, unspoken patterns that shape extraordinary lives. Not cliches, not motivational hype, but the real psychological, emotional, and behavioral traits that separate the exceptional from the average. Because here's the truth: success is not random. It's not accidental. It's not a mystery. It is engineered, piece by piece, choice by choice, trait by trait. And the people who reach the peak, the CEOs, the creators, the artists, the athletes, the builders, the dreamers, the fighters, they are not extraordinary because life favored them. They are extraordinary because they built systems within themselves that carried them forward when others quit. Tonight, you'll hear those systems. You'll understand what they cultivated inside their minds that the average person never even notices. Their confidence is not a mood. It's a practiced muscle. Their discipline is not luck. It's a crafted environment. Their clarity is not talent, it's conscious self-mastery. Their resilience is not genetics, it's trained emotional response. These 7 traits have shaped empires, resurrected careers, transformed ordinary men and women into legends of their fields. And here's what makes them powerful. Each trait can be learned, built, strengthened, refined by anyone, including you. So before we begin, ask yourself this: if success truly comes down to traits, not circumstances, then what could your life look like 1 year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now, if you committed to mastering these 7? What would change? What would open? What would finally become possible? This podcast is not just information. It is an internal blueprint, a shift in how you think, decide, act, and move through the world. By the end of it, you won't simply understand successful people. You'll think like them, work like them, build like them, and most importantly, believe like them. Because the difference between the life you have and the life you want is not destiny. It's not background. It's not the world around you. It's the traits within you. So take a breath. Settle in. Let the noise fade. Let your mind open. Because we're about to explore the 7 traits that define the world's highest achievers. And your journey begins right now. When you're ready, we begin with trait number 1, the foundation of every extraordinary achievement: the ability to take relentless ownership of your life. Chapter 1. Relentless clarity of purpose. Purpose. Every great transformation begins with that single word. Not money, not luck, not talent. Purpose. Successful people don't stumble into their outcomes. They aim at them, and their aim is so clear, so sharply defined, that everything else in their life begins to rearrange itself around that clarity. But for most people, confusion is the default state. They wake up every morning with the same dull question pressing on their chest: what am I even doing with my life? Highly successful people never allow that fog to stay. They refuse to wander. They refuse to drift. And so, they do something radically different. They choose one direction, even when they're uncertain, even when they don't have all the answers, even when doubt whispers that they're not ready. Because purpose is not something you discover by thinking. It's something you sharpen through movement. The world tells you to find yourself. Highly successful people, they build themselves. Their purpose is not an accident. It's a construction, brick by brick, decision by decision, day after day. Here's the secret most people don't realize. Clarity isn't a gift. It's a habit, a discipline, an ongoing daily refinement of what truly matters and what doesn't. Successful people spend years subtracting distractions, removing noise, and cutting out anything that does not align with their deeper mission. They aren't smarter than everyone else. They're simply more aligned. Where others chase everything, they chase one thing. And that single focus becomes their compass. Their purpose doesn't just guide them, it protects them. Protects them from comparison, from fear, from burnout, from the endless pressure to be everything, everywhere, for everyone. Because once you know your purpose, you stop performing for the world and start building the world you want to live in. Think about the people who dominate in any field: business, sports, medicine, creativity, leadership. The moment you hear them speak, you can feel it. They know exactly why they're here. They're not guessing. They're not wandering. They're not trying on different identities every few months to see which one fits. Their clarity becomes a force, a gravitational pull. People follow them because purpose is magnetic. It inspires trust. It commands respect. It moves mountains that talent alone cannot move. But clarity isn't loud. It doesn't shout. It whispers. And successful people learn to listen to that whisper, even when the world is screaming for their attention. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people fear clarity because clarity forces decisions, and decisions demand commitment, and commitment closes doors. Highly successful people are not afraid of those closed doors, because every closed door sharpens the one door that truly matters. They understand something essential. You cannot live a meaningful life if you are afraid to pick a direction. Purpose is not a prison, it's freedom. Freedom from the noise, freedom from pressure, freedom from the constant temptation to be distracted. It frees you to pour your soul into one thing with full intensity. And that intensity is why they win. But here's where the journey becomes human. Clarity doesn't always feel good in the beginning. Sometimes it feels lonely. Sometimes it feels uncertain. Sometimes it requires stepping away from the people who once shaped your identity. Because once you commit to your purpose, not everyone will understand it. Not everyone will support it. Not everyone will stay. And that's okay. Every successful person has walked through that season. The season where purpose becomes a filter, separating the temporary from the timeless. So the real question for you is this: what is the one direction that your life keeps pointing toward? What is the one thing that keeps resurfacing in your mind, in your heart, in your quiet moments? Not the thing you should do, not the thing others expect you to do, but the thing your soul keeps returning to. If you can identify that, if you can name it, if you can claim it, you've already stepped into the first trait of highly successful people: relentless clarity of purpose. Not perfect clarity, not comfortable clarity, not socially approved clarity, but relentless clarity. A clarity that refuses to die, even when you doubt, even when you're tired, even when life throws you into the unknown. This is the foundation, the anchor, the trait that gives birth to all the others. Chapter 2: The Discipline of Consistency. Consistency, the trait everyone admires, but almost no one masters. People dream big, people set goals, people make promises to themselves in the heat of motivation. But when the morning comes, when the excitement fades, when reality demands discipline, most people fold. Highly successful people, they do something different. They make consistency their identity, not a mood. They don't wait to feel ready. They don't wait for inspiration or motivation. They don't wait for the perfect moment, the perfect plan, or the perfect energy. They show up every day, every season, every cycle, whether life is gentle or brutal. Because consistency is not about intensity. It's about loyalty. Loyalty to your purpose, loyalty to your future self, loyalty to the vision you said mattered. And here's the truth most people don't want to face. Success rarely comes from doing something once. It comes from doing the right thing repeatedly. Tiny actions, unimpressive steps, boring repetitions, uncelebrated progress. That's the engine behind greatness. While others chase shortcuts, hacks, and overnight miracles, the successful build their future brick by brick, day by day, without applause. Consistency is not glamorous. It's not loud. It won't earn you praise in the beginning. It might not even look like progress. But consistency is the quiet architect of destiny. Think about the most successful people in any field. They all share the same trait. They trained themselves to do the work, whether they felt like it or not. While the world waits for motivation, they build systems. While the world seeks comfort, they seek discipline. While the world quits at the first sign of difficulty, they endure. This is where most people misunderstand success. They think greatness comes from massive effort. But real power comes from sustainable effort. Consistency compounds, slowly at first, silently, almost invisibly, and then, suddenly, it becomes obvious. Results start appearing. Momentum accelerates. People begin to notice. Opportunities find you. Doors open, as if by magic. But it wasn't magic. It was the accumulation of small, disciplined cycles of action. Here's the psychological foundation behind it. Your brain trusts what you repeatedly do, not what you say you'll do. Every time you follow through, even in small ways, you strengthen your identity. You prove to yourself that you can be counted on. You reinforce the belief, I am someone who shows up. This identity shift becomes the fuel for everything else. Consistency becomes easier because it's no longer a battle, it's who you are. But what separates successful people isn't just consistency when life is stable, it's consistency when life is unpredictable, when routines break, when energy dips, when emotions fluctuate, when responsibilities grow heavy, when no one applauds their effort, when progress feels slow, frustrating, almost invisible. That's the moment most people abandon their goals. But successful people know something essential. You don't rise to the level of your motivation. You fall to the level of your systems. That's why they build routines that carry them even on bad days. Systems that function even when they don't feel strong. Habits that protect their vision from emotional turbulence. Consistency requires architecture, a supportive environment, a time structure, a commitment to simplicity. Because simplicity sustains you. Complexity breaks you. Highly successful people reduce friction. They make good actions easy and bad actions inconvenient. They design their surroundings to support the person they're becoming. And the more they refine their system, the more unstoppable they become. But there's one more truth, the truth almost everyone avoids. Consistency demands sacrifice. You cannot be consistent with everything. You cannot chase every path. You cannot say yes to every desire. Consistency requires prioritization. It requires choosing the path that matters most and being willing to disappoint the world so you don't disappoint yourself. Successful people are not superhuman. They simply protect what is important to them. They protect their time. They protect their habits. They protect their routines with almost sacred discipline. Because they understand. You cannot build a great life on inconsistent effort. And this is where your transformation begins. Not in intensity, not in perfection, not in monumental leaps, but in the daily, quiet, almost invisible discipline of showing up. Showing up when you're tired. Showing up when you're discouraged. Showing up when doubts whisper their loudest lies. Showing up even when you can give only 30%, because 30% today is still better than 0%. Success is less about the days you perform perfectly and more about the days you refuse to quit. Because the person who wins is rarely the strongest, rarely the smartest, rarely the most gifted. The person who wins is the one who stays consistent long enough to let the seeds of their effort bloom. Chapter 3. Resilience under pressure. Pressure. It doesn't knock. It doesn't announce itself. It arrives suddenly, in deadlines, in expectations, in failures, in the moments when everything feels heavy at once. Most people crumble under it. They tighten up. They panic. They catastrophize. They start imagining the worst, and their fear grows louder than their ability. But highly successful people, they develop a different relationship with pressure. They don't run from it. They don't resent it. They don't freeze when it appears. They absorb it. They adapt to it. They rise through it. Resilience is not the absence of hardship. It is the mastery of response. And the truth is this: pressure doesn't break you. It reveals you. It reveals your beliefs. It reveals your habits. It reveals the strength of your inner world. Anyone can be confident when conditions are perfect. Anyone can stay calm when everything goes their way. Anyone can feel strong with no resistance. But real success is shaped in the pressure moments. When life squeezes you, when expectations stack on your shoulders, when the outcome is uncertain and you have to show up anyway. This is where resilience is forged. Resilience doesn't mean you don't feel fear. It means fear doesn't control your choices. It doesn't mean you don't feel doubt. It means doubt doesn't interrupt your momentum. It doesn't mean you pretend to be strong. It means you decide to keep moving forward even when strength feels out of reach. Highly successful people understand a simple but powerful truth. Pressure is a privilege, because pressure is evidence of growth. It means you're in motion. It means you're being trusted with more. It means you're operating at a level many people never reach. It means you're stretching beyond what your old comfort zone can handle. Pressure is not a signal to stop. It's a signal that you're leveling up. What separates the resilient from the fragile is not talent, intelligence, or luck. It's emotional endurance, the ability to breathe through chaos, the ability to stay rational when everything feels overwhelming, the ability to turn stress into strategy. And that begins with one skill: staying present. When pressure rises, most people jump into the future. They imagine every failure scenario. They inflate the consequences. They panic about problems that haven't even happened. But successful people pull themselves back to the moment. They ground themselves. They focus on what can be done now, today, this minute. They break the overwhelming into something manageable. They shrink the impossible into single steps. Presence dissolves panic. Here's another trait of resilient people. They don't fight the storm. They navigate it. Instead of resisting what they can't control, they shift their attention to what they can. Their attitude, their effort, their perspective, their strategy, their next action. Pressure becomes lighter when you stop trying to control the entire situation and start mastering your response to it. But the strongest resilience is built from something deeper, something internal. Your belief that you can handle what life hands you. This belief is not instant. It's earned through experience. Every challenge you've overcome, every moment you stayed calm under stress, every hardship you survived, these experiences built a reservoir inside you. A reservoir of quiet strength. A reservoir of lived proof that you are capable. Successful people draw from this reservoir deliberately. When pressure rises, they remind themselves, I've been here before, I've felt this before, and I made it through. This is emotional memory, and it's one of the most powerful tools for resilience. But resilience is not just internal, it's also strategic. Here's the mistake average performers make. They try to power through everything. They treat pressure like an enemy that must be defeated by force. High performers know better. They use systems to protect their mental bandwidth. They manage their energy intentionally. They regulate their nervous system. They create space in their mind so they can think clearly. They step away when necessary, not to escape the pressure, but to return stronger. Breaks are not weakness. They are strategy. Because clarity disappears when your mind is overloaded. Creativity collapses when stress becomes suffocating. Discipline erodes when pressure turns into emotional chaos. Resilient people protect their clarity. They journal through stress. They breathe through tension. They micro-pause before reacting. They move their body to release pressure physically. They stay grounded in the long-term vision so the moment doesn't consume them. And most importantly, they don't personalize the pressure. They don't turn temporary hardship into identity. They don't interpret difficulties as proof they're failing. They see pressure as a test, not a verdict. They understand. Pressure is not here to punish you. It's here to prepare you. Prepare you for larger responsibilities. Prepare you for bigger opportunities. Prepare you for the next version of yourself. Every level of success requires a stronger nervous system. The more you rise, the more pressure you face. So resilience becomes a necessary skill, not an optional one. But here is the secret. Resilience grows fastest when you stop avoiding discomfort and start leaning into it. When you embrace challenges as training. When you face uncertainty with curiosity, not fear. When you treat every setback as data, not defeat. This mindset transforms pressure from something heavy into something empowering. Because if pressure cannot break you, it cannot stop you. Chapter 4. Vision. The compass of high achievers. Before every journey begins, there is a direction. Before every breakthrough, there is a destination. Before every life-changing achievement, there is a vision. Clear, compelling, and powerful enough to pull you forward. Highly successful people don't move blindly. They don't stumble into greatness by accident. They operate with intentionality, as if guided by an internal compass pointing towards something bigger than the present moment. And that compass is vision. Vision is the ability to see beyond your circumstances, beyond the noise, beyond the doubts, beyond the limits of your current environment. It is the ability to hold a picture of your future so vividly that it begins to shape your decisions today. Most people wake up each morning and react. They respond to problems. They respond to notifications. They respond to situations they feel they cannot control. But high achievers, they don't live in reaction. They move with direction. Every action is connected to something bigger. Every choice feeds into a larger purpose. Every step aligns with the person they are becoming. Vision gives life meaning. It gives effort purpose. It transforms ordinary days into foundational bricks for an extraordinary future. Without vision, discipline feels like punishment. With vision, discipline feels like alignment. Without vision, challenges feel overwhelming. With vision, challenges feel meaningful, part of a story worth living. Your vision becomes your internal North Star. It keeps you steady when life shakes you. It keeps you focused when distractions try to pull you off course. It keeps you committed when motivation fades. And here's the real secret. Vision is emotional. It is not just a plan, not just a goal, not just a set of steps. Vision is a feeling, a pull, a fire, a conviction that says, this is where my life is going, and I am willing to fight for it. Successful people don't create visions they can live with. They create visions they cannot live without. But here's the challenge most people face. They confuse goals with vision. Goals are targets. Vision is identity. Goals are what you want. Vision is who you are becoming. Goals can change. Vision evolves, expands, deepens. Goals are external. Vision is internal. And the strongest visions come from within, from values, from purpose, from your lived experiences, and your deepest desires for the future. This is why successful people take time, real time, to think about what they want their life to look like. Not just financially, not just professionally, but emotionally, spiritually, relationally, physically, creatively. Vision is holistic. It includes the entire human experience. And once a person defines that vision, everything begins to change. Their habits shift, their choices sharpen, their environment evolves, their circle transforms, their standards rise. Vision forces growth. Because when you know exactly who you want to become, you can no longer tolerate actions that betray that identity. Vision makes you walk away from mediocrity. Vision makes you cut off distractions. Vision makes you discipline your emotions. Vision makes you uncomfortable in the best possible way. Successful people are not disciplined because they have superhuman self-control. They are disciplined because they are guided by something larger than their impulses. Vision gives them clarity when everything else feels chaotic. Vision gives them courage when fear tries to slow them down. Vision gives them resilience when challenges try to break them. Vision turns the future from something uncertain into something intentional. And there is a powerful truth here. When your vision is clear, your path becomes obvious. You stop wasting time on things that don't matter. You stop chasing validation. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop second-guessing your potential. Your decisions become sharper. Your priorities become simpler. Your confidence becomes stronger. Vision doesn't eliminate obstacles. It simply makes them irrelevant, because you are too focused on where you are going to be discouraged by where you are standing. But vision does something even more profound. It pulls the future into the present. When you visualize the life you want, the business, the relationships, the health, the achievements, your brain begins to treat that vision as something real. Neuroscience calls this anticipatory wiring. Your mind starts preparing you internally for the reality you see externally. This is why Olympic athletes visualize the finish line. This is why elite performers picture the result long before they achieve it. This is why the greatest leaders in history moved with conviction even before the world believed in them. Vision is a rehearsal for greatness, and the more vividly you see it, the more naturally you move toward it. But vision alone is not enough. Highly successful people do something else, something crucial. They revisit their vision daily. They refine it. They reconnect to it. They re-anchor themselves in where they're going so that today's noise doesn't drown out tomorrow's purpose. Vision is not something you create once. It's something you return to consistently. It is both a guide and a reminder of who you are, a reminder of who you're becoming, a reminder of what you refuse to settle for. Your vision is your compass, and once it is set, your life begins to move in alignment, even in the middle of chaos, challenges, and detours, because direction is more powerful than speed, and clarity is more valuable than motivation. Vision keeps you moving, especially when the path gets dark and the journey becomes heavy. Chapter 5. Emotional Control. Mastering your internal climate. There comes a point in your evolution where you realize that success is not just about what you do. It's about what you manage inside yourself. Your emotions are not random. They are not interruptions. They are indicators, signals, early warnings of the internal weather forming inside you. High achievers don't rise because they avoid storms. They rise because they learn how to navigate them. Emotional control is not suppression. That's self-destruction disguised as strength. Real emotional control is regulation. The ability to feel without being drowned, to react without being reckless, to decide without being hijacked by the moment. Most people live as emotional reactors. They wake up, and the world dictates how they feel. A rude comment ruins their day. A setback cripples their momentum. Discomfort sends them back to their old habits. But high performers operate differently. They understand that the mind interprets events. The body follows that interpretation, and behavior follows the body. This means one thing: control the interpretation, and you control the outcome. Take anger, the fire that scorches progress when uncontrolled, yet fuels transformation when mastered. Take anxiety, the fog that blinds your vision, yet becomes a compass when understood. Take frustration, the friction that makes most people quit, yet becomes jet fuel for those who know how to channel it. Every emotion has an energy, and every energy can be redirected. Here is the hidden truth. Your emotional state is your true home, not your environment, not your circumstances, not what people said or didn't say. The quality of your life is determined by the climate you create inside yourself. So ask yourself, are you walking through life with thunderstorms inside your chest? Or are you cultivating a calm, powerful internal world that nothing and no one can easily disturb? Because the moment you learn to master your emotional climate, when fear comes, you analyze instead of panic. When anger arises, you respond instead of explode. When doubt whispers, you step forward instead of shrinking back. That is the moment you become unstoppable. You stop chasing motivation. You stop relying on external validation. You stop getting manipulated by the noise around you. You become a strategist of your own emotions, a commander of your inner world, a guardian of your peace. Emotional control is not about perfection. It's about returning to your center no matter how far the world tries to pull you. And once you master that, You don't just elevate your performance, you elevate your identity. You rise as someone who cannot be thrown off course, because the real battlefield isn't outside, it's inside. And the moment you master yourself, the world follows. Chapter 6: Energy Management, the power cycle of high performers. Most people imagine success as a straight line, a long, unbroken sprint from morning to night. But high achievers know something far more profound. Success is not about time management. It is about energy management. Because no matter how disciplined, intelligent, or visionary you are, your life is ultimately powered by the quality of your energy, your decisions, your focus, your creativity, your emotional stability, your ability to push through the final 20% when most people break. All of it is tied to the invisible engine inside you. And the people who rise the highest aren't the ones who work the longest. They're the ones who understand their energy cycles and manage them with the precision of an elite athlete. This is the sixth trait of highly successful people. They control their energy, so their energy never controls them. 1. The invisible edge no one talks about. Ask anyone why they didn't pursue their goals today, and they'll give you the same answers. I didn't have time. I was too stressed. I wasn't in the mood. I felt tired. I'll do it tomorrow. But beneath every excuse lies one truth. People don't run out of time. They run out of energy. High performers recognize this early. They realized the quality of their life and output had less to do with hours and more to do with vitality, focus, and mental sharpness. So they stopped trying to stretch their day. Instead, they optimized their internal power source. 2. The 3 energy states of high performers. Successful people understand that their day isn't one emotional or mental state. It's 3. Peak, plateau, recovery. Every high performer protects and leverages these phases intentionally. Peak energy. This is your mental sunrise, where clarity is sharpest and willpower is strongest. This is when elites do their most important work. Strategy, vision planning, deep focus tasks, creative breakthroughs, big decisions. Average people waste this window scrolling, replying, reacting, or organizing. Successful people treat it as sacred. Plateau energy. This is where your mind stabilizes. Consistency, rather than brilliance, becomes your asset. You handle execution, follow-ups, operational tasks, and necessary routines. This is where discipline lives. This is where momentum is built. Recovery energy. Most people ignore this phase, and that's why they burn out. Recovery is not weakness. Recovery is the recharging of the mental, emotional, and physical batteries that fuel tomorrow's greatness. Elites don't recover when they're exhausted. They recover before exhaustion hits. And that single difference changes everything. 3. The biological rhythm of winners. Success is not just psychological, it's biochemical. High performers understand cortisol waves and dopamine cycles, circadian rhythms, mental fatigue patterns, decision-making stamina. They know their body has natural windows where it wants to work, create, move, push, rest, and restore. The average person ignores these rhythms. The winner synchronizes with them. They don't fight their biology, they harness it. When they hit a peak, they go deep. When their energy plateaus, they shift tasks. When their energy dips, they pull back before they collapse. This is not laziness. This is energetic intelligence. 4. The dangerous cost of ignoring your energy. The price of poor energy management is subtle at first. Then it becomes devastating. You become irritable. Decisions get sloppy. Emotions become volatile. Focus weakens. Creativity disappears. Discipline collapses. Confidence drops. Motivation evaporates. And slowly, your life becomes a constant struggle to keep up with responsibilities you were never physically or mentally prepared for. This is why some people always feel behind, while high achievers always seem ahead. It's not luck. It's not talent. It's energy awareness. 5. The power rituals of high performers. Highly successful people build rituals specifically designed to replenish and expand their energy reserves. Not random habits. Systems that fuel their mind, body, and emotional stability. Common rituals include morning priming, hydration discipline, movement or exercise, controlled solitude, intentional focus sprints, micro-recoveries, mental resets, nightly shutdown routines. They don't try to have energy. They create energy. They don't hope to feel good. They engineer it. They don't rely on motivation. They rely on systems. 6. The second wind, the hidden power zone. Elite performers experience a phenomenon that most people never reach, the second wind. It's a surge of mental clarity and motivation after recovery, usually later in the day. It happens because their energy was preserved, not destroyed, earlier. Average people never feel it. Their minds are overstimulated, their nervous systems overwhelmed, their attention scattered. But high performers, because they manage their cycles, tap into a renewed burst of excellence. This is where they practice, learn, strategize, improve, grow. The second wind is where many champions' real evolution happens. 7. The identity of an energetic warrior. There is one final truth. Success is not given to the strongest. It is given to the most energetically intelligent. Your energy is your identity in motion. Your habits either feed it or drain it. Your environment either energizes you or suffocates you. Your routines either renew you or destroy you. Highly successful people manage their energy with the same seriousness others manage their money or career. Because deep down, they understand your energy is your life force, and your life force decides your future. Chapter 7. Strategic Adaptability, the evolution code of high performers. If there is one truth every highly successful person eventually learns, it is this: life does not reward the strongest. Life rewards the most adaptable. Strength can break, talent can fade, skill can become outdated. Even discipline can be misapplied in the wrong direction. But the ability to adjust, to pivot, to re-strategize, to evolve faster than chaos can swallow you, that is the trait that preserves greatness. This is the seventh and final trait of high achievers: strategic adaptability, not blind flexibility, not panic-driven switching, but the ability to read reality as it is and make intelligent, intentional shifts that keep you moving forward even when the ground beneath you changes. This single trait turns ordinary individuals into unstoppable forces. 1. When life changes the rules. There comes a moment in every person's journey where the plan collapses, the market shifts, a partnership dissolves, opportunities vanish, your motivation dips, your environment becomes unpredictable, your expectations fail you. Most people freeze, some crumble, others retreat, but high achievers do something exceptional. They adapt their strategy without losing their direction. They understand the difference between the goal and the path to the goal. The goal remains unshaken. The path remains flexible. That mindset alone sets them apart from 99% of the world. 2. Adaptability begins with self-honesty. Highly successful people don't cling to illusions. They don't pretend things are fine when they're not. They don't hide from the truth because it's uncomfortable. Their power begins with brutal internal clarity. They ask themselves, what's actually happening? What is no longer working? What has changed that I'm refusing to acknowledge? What belief or habit must I update? What opportunity hides inside this disruption? Most people avoid these questions. Successful people seek them because they know you cannot adapt to a reality you refuse to see. 3. The winning principle: adjust without emotional collapse. Strategic adaptability is not reacting emotionally. It is responding intelligently. The average person responds to change with fear, panic, frustration, withdrawal, blame. But high achievers recognize something powerful. The world is constantly changing, so they train their mind to stay stable while everything else moves. They do not break under uncertainty. They breathe through it, assess it, learn from it, then move with intention. Where others panic, they plan. Where others spiral, they stabilize. Where others get stuck, they see angles and possibilities. This is adaptability at the strategic level. 4. The advantage of alternative thinking. One of the hidden reasons highly successful people adapt so well is their ability to think in alternatives. They never rely on one source of income, one path to success, one identity, one idea, one approach, one strategy. They build optionality because they understand. If you have only one plan, you don't have a plan. You have a vulnerability. So they create backup strategies, alternative methods, different angles, new routes, not because they're unsure, but because they're intelligent. They don't fear change. They prepare for it. And when disruption comes, they don't collapse. They simply select the next option and keep moving. 5. They know when to reinvent themselves. Strategic adaptability is not just about pivoting externally. It is about evolving internally. High achievers consistently reinvent their habits, their thinking patterns, their expectations, their skills, their identity, their workflow, their direction. They don't wait for life to force them into evolution. They evolve proactively. If a method stops working, they upgrade it. If a belief becomes too small, they break it. If an identity limits them, they shed it. They understand the truth most people run from. You cannot become the next version of yourself while clinging to the old one. 6. The power of controlled detachment. Here is something powerful that high achievers practice. They remain committed to the goal, but detached from the form. This means they don't idolize a specific version of success. They don't pretend their first idea is always the best. They don't hold on to plans that no longer serve them. They don't confuse effort with results. Detachment is not apathy. It is clarity. It is the ability to shift without feeling like you've failed. It is the difference between ego-driven stubbornness and intelligence-driven progress. Reading environments like a skill. Highly successful people are exceptional readers of their environment. They sense when momentum is shifting, people are changing, markets are evolving, energy is decaying, new opportunities are emerging, old opportunities are dying, and they don't ignore these signals. They act on them. This is why they often appear lucky, why they arrive early, why they avoid disaster. why they catch trends before everyone else. It's not luck. It's perceptive adaptability. 8. The adaptability paradox. Flexibility creates stability. This is one of the greatest ironies of success. The more adaptable you are, the more stable your life becomes. Because adaptability gives you the ability to adjust your income streams, shift your strategy, replace broken systems, rebuild momentum, navigate setbacks, recover without fear. Stability does not come from rigidity. Stability comes from the confidence that you can adjust to anything. That confidence becomes your anchor, your power, your unfair advantage. 9. Adaptability as a way of life. For highly successful people, adaptability is not an emergency response. It is a lifestyle. They live in a state of ongoing improvement, ongoing adjustment, ongoing refinement. They look at their life like a strategist, not a survivor. When something breaks, they fix it. When something shifts, they shift with it. When something ends, they begin again. Their ego does not hold them hostage. Their fear does not freeze them. Their pride does not blind them. They evolve. And because they evolve, they endure. 10. Adaptability is the foundation of lasting success. This entire series, all 7 traits, leads here. Drive gets you started. Consistency keeps you moving. Resilience protects you. Vision guides you. Emotional control stabilizes you. Energy management sustains you. But adaptability ensures you never stop growing. It ensures you're never outdated, never stuck, never behind, never defeated by the unexpected. Because the person who adapts wins. Not once, not temporarily, not by luck, but continuously for an entire lifetime. This is the final trait of highly successful people. They do not wait for the world to make sense. They evolve fast enough to stay ahead of it, and that is what makes them unstoppable.